My name is Lydia Rutledge. On December 14th, 2012, Adam Lanza woke up in his house in Newtown, Connecticut. Going to the gun closet, Adam Lanza took out his mother's rifle and loaded it. Taking the loaded weapon, he made his way to his mother, whom he shot fatally in her own bed, officially taking his first victim. Lanza shortly made his way to the Sandy Hook Elementary School. Shooting his way into the school with a rifle, he easily passed through the school security. Heading into the north wing of the building, he took his time killing the psychologist and the principal of the school. Lanza did not see those in the main office, as it says in the official court case that those in the office started to hide, and so did the rest of the school. At the end of the day, he killed 28 people. 20 of those were children under the age of 12. This woke America up in the winter of 2012 and set off a new rugged agenda for those in the government. Protests broke out against those in certain groups like the NRA, and a series of acts from the government followed suit. Gun laws started to become the big issue at the time, which led to many new interpretations of the amendment. So, what are these interpretations, and what possibly keeps us from coming to a conclusion about this amendment? The actual wording of the Second Amendment is, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. When looking at any part of the Constitution, you must think about two things: the Constitution as an original intent and as a living document. Original intent means that people take the amendment and interpret it how the founding fathers wanted them to interpret it, where living document refers to how the Constitution is forever changing, and we should take today's standards and push them to where we see the amendment as forever changing in today's world. These two things are what help judges decide on court cases today. Although it isn't used in everyday context, it is used in a larger context. Being knowledgeable about the topic can help you in situations such as voting. For example, Larry Hogan wishes to support gun laws. However, he's a Republican. If you understand what the Second Amendment means, you can further research this and see if he's the right candidate for you. However, it is important to know what this amendment means so you can vote. According to YouGov, a global data collection center, 1 in 5 Americans think that this amendment should be repealed, but 60% still think differently. And according to the NRA, 60% of Americans still think that putting guns in the hands of Americans and opening it up to the whole world isn't going to make the world a better place or make nations safer. Due to biased media outlets, it's still hard to tell for yourself where you should be leaning. And because of that, it has polarized the American community to the point where we can't really interpret anything because everyone is so opinionated. But all in all, it is very important to know what the amendment means and everything surrounding it. Okay, but what is important about this amendment anyways? Well, one of the main reasons people misunderstand it is because they don't understand the wording of it. The correct definition really depends on the time and day, and this is kind of where living document and original intent come in. So just to remind you guys of the definition, it's a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. First, we would look at the first part of this amendment, which is a militia necessary to the security. The original intent of the Second Amendment was to help the Americans be able to revolt against their government if they did not like what they were seeing. If they did not agree by that power, they could form a militia, which is a body of citizens organized for militarized purposes, which is according to Merriam-Webster of that definition. The United States was able to form a militarized group to keep themselves safe. They wanted to protect their land and their freedom, and one way they knew how to do this was with guns, so they wanted to be sure that that was kept safe as a right. In original intent terms, guns are a necessary portion to keeping Americans safe. However, in living document terms, there's no real reason to keep the government in check and keep that right and their freedom with the nation, because there are already governmental laws and situations where if those are met, then the government is already in check. So there's not reason for people to keep and bear arms because the government already does that itself. The next portion, the right of the people shall not be infringed, is often taken away. That means that the people have the right to bear arms and that can't be taken away. This amendment, this seems important because it seems like the founders solely wanted this specific amendment to not be taken away, and no other amendment really suggests that. It's only really the Second Amendment that suggests that it shouldn't be taken away. Others could say that because of today's issue, this right shouldn't be inalienable, and because guns are dangerous, that it shouldn't be a right of the people to keep them. In 1867, the 15-year-old son of John T. Farlow, who was a marshal in Baltimore at the time, was shot and killed during a Sabbath school gathering. Several arrests were made and the perpetrator got away. This is an instance, same as Sandy Hook, where if a gun was present, then these kids in this song possibly wouldn't have been killed. But in the other instance, where if a gun wasn't present, they also would have probably survived as well. Well, what about just repealing this amendment? It's quite hard to repeal an amendment, and it has actually only been done once. It's a very long process, and an amendment first must be proposed to Congress, a new amendment. And it's a bunch of just steps where Congress has to vote, the legislator has to vote, the president has to vote, and it just takes way too long. And this has actually only been done once, like I said. The only repealed amendment was that of the 18th, where it stated that America was in a state of prohibition, which meant they could not sell or consume alcohol. Seeing that this amendment did not affect the drug and alcohol trades, Congress decided to add the 21st. It's a difficult process, and like I said, it takes a very long time. So it's not quite the first thing that people want to do when it comes to that. The Second Amendment is a very important amendment to the American people and serves a viewing point for those interested in today's political issues. Many things have been tried, like more background checks or banning guns, but most have failed. Those with mental issues still have access to guns. However, those who want guns for recreational purposes like hunting can't get them. It is nothing but a game of inches and seconds, and it may never be solved. Thank you.